Hi, guys. It's Amy Elkins here again with Strong as You Think. Today, I want to talk about something that I've thought a lot about lately, and that's the past self and the future self. Okay. This is really important when we're talking about making goals in our life and just seeing the possibilities of where we can be in the future. Okay. Because I think most of us, even if we're happy with where we are now, have some ideas about what we want the future to be like. Okay. And what I want to talk about is to really get to be where your future self is. You need to be thinking like your future self. Now, that sounds a little silly, right? Like, how can I think about my future self? I'm not my future self yet. So, how can I do that? But I want to tell you first why this is effective, okay? So let's talk about maybe if it's your past self, if you're working on maybe a weight loss goal. Maybe your past self, say, is 200 pounds and your future self wants to be 140 pounds, okay? A lot of times when we think about a goal, we want it to kind of go like this. We want it to go with this linear line, um, steadily going up from where we are now to where we want to be. Okay. But as many of us know, that is hardly ever the way it goes. It could be often we can start here and we can go down, up, down, up. Okay. There's lots of ups and downs along the path. It doesn't follow the linear path. Or another common thing, maybe even with weight loss, it's common. You kind of go up, you lose a lot of weight at first, and then you kind of plateau, maybe have something down, and then, okay, until you get all the way, let's say you're going all the way up. But so you have these different ways that you're probably getting there. If you're thinking at things of the future self, when you hit a plateau, you might, if you're thinking from the past self, you're thinking, and seeing from only here, the thought might be, this isn't working, right? What I'm doing here is not working, right? Because you don't see, you don't know if you're going to get there. So you think, this is not working. And you're going to want to stop, right? Same with when you get down here in one of these, if it's one of these troughs and the ups and downs, you're here and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't working. But you even managed to get out here. But look, I had another big setback. And this isn't working. I want to stop. But look, you can get there. But if you look at it from the perspective of your future self knows, yeah, I got here, right? But and you can look back and say, but I know that there was some ups and downs or some plateaus along the way. If you know that you've gotten to 140 pounds, okay, you're looking at it almost from your future self as if it's already happened. You know you've got to 140 pounds. How do you look at the trough? How do you look at that setback, that down point? Well, you don't want to quit because you know this is going to happen. You know that 140 pounds is going to happen. So you're not going to quit when you have these setbacks or these plateaus. Okay? So it gives you perspective, right? But if you only are looking at it from here and only as far as you can, you know, what if you get to this point and you can't see anything but that how low I'm going or how much I've just on this plateau, I've just stopped my progression, right? You don't have the perspective of the future self. So we want to look at things from the future self. We want to have that perspective. But that's harder than it sounds, right? Because we keep saying, but what if I can't, right? I haven't done that before. What if I can't do that? What if it doesn't work for me, right? So that's pretty valid, right? Because we haven't seen it happen before. So what we want to think about is the future self when we come to this, instead of saying, I want to give up, this isn't working. What if we came at it from curiosity, okay? What if we said instead, what can I do differently? Because just because it's the future self, you may not know all the things that you have to do to get there, but you just know that you're going to get there, okay? But if you take an opportunity, instead of saying, this isn't working, I want to quit, to look at it with curiosity and say, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder what I can do differently. How does that feel? Because it's really hard to keep going when you say, this isn't working, I want to quit. You're not feeling very fueled to keep going on this path to getting the 140 pounds or to whatever it is, the goal that you want, right? But what if you realizing on the path, like to weight loss, okay, well, I'm down here. I've gained some weight back. Instead of saying this isn't working, what if I just thought, what's going on here? What can I do differently? Why did this happen? Did something happen in my life here that caused me to react differently? But just be really curious with yourself and give yourself a break and not make every failure or every down point the end of the road. Because really, almost anything worth achieving, we are going to have setbacks. We're going to have failures along the way, right? And it's how we react to these plateaus and these failures that will determine if we get to our goal. And not only if we get to our goal in our future self, but will we remain that future self once we get there, okay? That we keep the weight off. Or if we're working on a business, that we continue to work on that and continue to have a successful business that we're working on. Or if we're working on being a parent and not yelling at our kids as much, that we are able to maintain that and really live into that future self, okay? But we have to be thinking of that future self, that it's possible. And in addition to being curious, to be able to look at it from the perspective of future self and to be able to kind of keep your brain there, you're going to want to practice it every day and think, even if you can't say, I know I'm going to be 140 pounds, what if you said, I believe it's possible that I can get to 140 pounds. I believe it's possible for me to be the person that weighs 140 pounds. So let's start there and practice that thought, practice that belief. And as you keep practicing that and working on figuring out what that 140-pound person thinks and feels, as you do that, the decisions you make along the way, you'll better be able to make those decisions that you need to be making from the right perspective to become that, because you already are thinking that. So it's inevitable that you're going to be that. Okay. And this works in so many areas in your life, and anything that you have a goal and anything that you want to accomplish, you're going to want to think at it from your future self. You know, whether it's an amount of money you want to earn, you know, I want to earn $100,000 this year. You know, I'm only earning $50,000 this year. So, but get curious. What can I do differently when things don't go the way I planned, right? But we can do that. And it's challenging because your brain doesn't want you to do that. It thinks you're okay at 200 pounds. It thinks you're okay at $50,000 or wherever you are. You're alive and you're here, and it's saying, you know, we're okay. We don't want to do that. You know, we've got something going. But you need to be able to check that and to say, I appreciate you, brain, but we're going to challenge you on that. I have a future self that I'm going to learn to think from. That's who I want to be. And as you practice that, your brain will move into that with you and probably won't fight you as hard. Okay? So I really want to challenge you to think about this and the value of thinking from the person who's already achieved your goal. It's going to make such a difference in your life, but don't get discouraged if it doesn't come right away. Keep practicing. Think with curiosity. What can I do differently? I really think that that's going to be one of the life-changing things for you if you can really think from that. It's really powerful. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time at Strong as You Think.